make it.
And I want to kind of dive into that. I kind of knew that was part of your story, but I didn't obviously know. But um, what I guess what was it that just made you want to reach out to be the top 5 places and then make the decision to go essentially across the world to work in a place that you've never even probably been to before at that point. Like, I just think back to when you were talking about riding dirt bikes, risk taker, right? Like, but what was that thought process of? Was it just I want to be where the best people are? I mean, was it
I
I
want
just
to be
need this
somewhere.
opportunity?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I don't know that I've ever contemplated it before. I unfortunately I believe that it was fear driven because I just knew that I had to provide. I had to provide for my son, 100% financially responsible, and I needed to somehow make ends meet. And if that was the only environment that had a healthy environment of real estate sales, then I needed to go there.
Yeah. That's so crazy because I talk about like, trying to move out of Columbus to somewhere warm, and you went across the ocean. What was selling real estate in Dubai like? I mean, is it similar to here, or what was and especially at that time, right? Obviously, we all know what happens in 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010.
Yep, yep.
What was real estate like over there? What was the market like? How did things get done? And then how long did you stay?
Yeah, it's a great question because I did a lot of research. Of course, making a move like that wasn't just off of a whim. And, reading articles in the national papers, international papers, I'm like, okay, so they have a period, though we may have fallen here, they have a period of climax selling. So I think that we have another good 2 years over there. And so when I went over there, I was so blown away to know that they didn't have an MLS. Their state regulatory board was just starting to take formation. RERA, they were called. So basically, and it was all cash because under Sharia law, they don't charge interest, and
Yeah.
it was just fascinating. So the major difference is that there was no inventory. You had to go to a platform called dobizzle.com, which was similar to our Craigslist to find inventory to match buyers with sellers, which I thought was really fascinating. I thought it was fascinating that we got paid in cash. And the other big difference was that the most of the sales were from far eastern money, and they were buying up entire floors of new construction on paper. So as opposed to here in the US, where the end user got stuck holding the bag in the unit when the market went down, so they had to figure out how to do a short sale on that.
Yeah.
You had entire uh, floors of undeveloped new construction that they were left holding, which was fascinating.
Um, how was agency like? Was it buy like listing or buyer, or the person, or was it people that had the listing had both clients?
Well, pretty much there wasn't an exclusive listing agreement. You had sometimes you would have a daisy chain. I mean, I had a transaction over there. There were 5 people that we had to split the commission with.
Oh,
But the median sales price at that time, John, it's going to blow your mind, was 900,000
oh,
US.
yeah.
There was enough to go round, but really it was a 2-year plan. But I went over there in late July, early August, and fascinating because Ramadan soon came. If you know anything about that culture, there's a month of fasting during the day, and my kid was 2 and wanted candy, and I'm like, can he eat candy? Are we going to get
Right.
thrown? But the fall of Lehman Brothers. Remember that fall in 2008, and at the same time, they had one of the largest international real estate expos in the world was going on over there called Cityscape,
Hmm.
and there was a lot of anticipation. When America sneezes, it's felt throughout, and
Right.
it was clear at that point in October with the fall of Lehman Brothers here, and then the DIFC, which is the Wall Street over there, was feeling it, there was a mass diaspora. There were a lot of us over there, expatriates, trying to make it in real estate. And under Sharia law, if you get into any type of debt and you can't repay, that's a punishable offense by jail.
Wow.
So you saw a lot of expatriates that would leave their cars at the airport with their credit card statements, their cell phones, and they just got out of Dodge. And I had to make the hard decision because the 3 months that they put me up in this penthouse, whether I was going to go into a lease and be financially responsible for that. So I made arrangements for another 2 months. But after 5 months, I thought, you know what? I just got black eyes on American soil, and I don't want to experience this here. So
Yeah.
it was cut short. I then came back, and oh, that was the hardest time of my life, really.
That
But
would have
just
been,
the lessons inherent in that.
yeah. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, I can't imagine, with a 2-year-old and going to a completely different country and just learning the customs and the laws and you're trying to survive and make it, right. And, just understanding, real estate, right? Like you had the experience here, but it's a different world, over there of how things are done. And, but I know that probably plays a huge role into once you come back, right? And well, kind of walk me through some of that. You come back to the United States. Did you just jump back into the real estate sales? Did you go back to appraising?
Yeah, good question. Because I came back in 2009, and I went home to mom for a couple of weeks, about 4 weeks, just to lick my wounds and figure out, in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and figure out what next. I had my townhouse rented out. And so I was making some connections while I was up there, keeping temperature on opportunities, what our market was doing. And I then decided after a month to come back to Tampa, and we stayed in an extended hotel suite. I had to get some daycare vouchers to get Noah into daycare so I could get back to work. So we were on assistance. We were on government assistance for 3 months,
Mm.
and another one of my mentors had connected me with a Century 21 office, and I was able to get a full-time job and with some incentives in building that office. And we built that office, grew it 150% from the time I
Wow.
through short sales.
Yeah.
So we head down, helped a lot of sellers get out of difficult situations. But they were tough years. But by the grace of God and a couple of scars on my knuckles, I'm so much better for that experience today.
Yeah. It's one of those things for me, like the 08, 09, 2010, I was kind of numb to it because I was in college, right? Like I was in my own little world. I didn't have to experience that. But when I got licensed in 2011, my team lead had connected with a bank and we were doing REOs, so in 2011 when I got licensed, 2012, I think his portfolio was 120, 130 homes that we were in charge of selling. Not only that, but this bank was smaller, so they allowed the tenants to stay in the properties.
Oh
So
wow.
we did tenant, you know, uh, property management. The vacant ones, we boarded up, we mowed, we winterized. We did all that stuff, and I feel lucky that I was able to cut my teeth that way when I got into it. And I yeah, 2011 was still kind of bad, but it wasn't, 08, 09. But short sales, right? Like, having the experience with short sales, working, auction properties and HUD homes and home path and all that other stuff, and, people getting in the last 3, 4, 5, even 5 years, they don't know what that stuff's like. And, when this market starts to turn a little bit and slow down and if we start seeing some of those things pop up, it's going to be an interesting time. It's going to be an interesting time.
It will be, and grateful you have the experience that you can help a lot of agents.
Oh, I'm not scared.
Bring it, bring it.
You want to talk about waiting like 8 months for a short sale to get approved and closed?
Yeah.
So